There are 5 steps to take to get to $20,000 to $30,000 cash collected in an online coaching business as quickly as possible here in 2024, and I'm going to walk you through them right here and right now. I've had a online business that's done over $20,000 all the way up to $113,000 is our record month for years now. And so I have whittled down to the best of my ability. If I had to choose 5 things, and I tried to go less than 5, but there are really 5 major steps, pillars, milestones, if you will, that if you do, and you do them well, you will be at $20,000, $30,000, maybe even $40,000 or $50,000, depending on the price point of your offer. So let's go ahead and break these down. Short little story here. I remember the first time that I hit $20,000 in my business. I was ecstatic. I had been struggling for years. I had owned the gym for a while, and our gym was doing well over $20,000, but there was very high overhead because I was paying a lot of staff members, and we just had a lot of other expenses to run an actual gym. And I remember when I first stepped into the online business, and margins were pretty high because our expenses were super low. We had like nothing. I had an assistant at the time, and I was paying for some softwares, right? And I remember when I first hit that $10,000 per month mark, I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, this isn't actually that much to be able to grow a business. It was a relief because I actually finally had some cash coming into my business. I wasn't freaking stressed out all the time about paying myself or paying bills and things like that. But still, like, I knew that, like, to actually grow a business, to reinvest back into the business, like, that $20,000 per month mark was like a first milestone for me. And I remember struggling for months before I actually hit it. You know, I did $12,000, $13,000. I did a $17,000 month, but I was like, I freaking can't hit it. I share this with you because I was like beating my head against the wall trying to figure out what the heck, like, why can't I scale past this like mystical number here? Came down to I was doing things in the wrong order. So I was working on right actions. You know, I was seeing people that were doing 7 figures in their business. I was seeing people that were doing $80,000, $50,000, and I was trying to do the things they were doing, which were right actions, but they were at the wrong time. And so what I want to give to you today are the 5 things that if you do these in order, you'll see like 4 and 5, you can mix and match them, but 1 through 3 should be done in sequential order, just like building just like building a Lego. When you build Legos in a sequential order, right, you take all of the bags out of the box. The bags are listed 1, 2, 3. This Captain America shield had like 25 bags, right? And if you build them in order, you will actually have the outcome that you want. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive into it. So the first major thing that you have to do is create an aligned offer. An aligned offer. And here's what I mean by aligned offer. For myself, and I'll throw myself under the bus, I was modeling too much of what other people were doing, and I started to create this offer. It was like this big group program. I tried to automate everything because that's what everybody was doing, and it just wasn't aligned with me. Like I didn't feel really good about it. I love connecting with people. I love working with people a little bit more one-to-one. I like being in there with people and helping them overcome limiting beliefs and really get down to the nitty-gritty so people can actually transform. And I remember when I first realized this, I was just like, I don't know if the right word is like burned out, but I just wasn't loving my business, despite us actually making decent income. To create an aligned offer is you want to create an offer that solves a problem, obviously, for somebody else, whether you're helping people with weight loss or business or whatever it is, but also that you're excited to deliver. So you should be excited to wake up every day and get to deliver this service to people. If you feel like, man, I gotta get on calls with, it's like you might have the wrong offer. And so the right offer and having an aligned offer is you have a very specific problem that you are really good at solving. Number 2 is the process that you're delivering, like your delivery methods, whether it's one-to-one, group, a hybrid of them, whatever your process is of delivering is aligned with what you want to do, how you want to deliver it. I know people that deliver in multiple ways, right? Workshops, one-to-one, group only, hybrid, but it's finding the process that works for you. And then the price point. Having a price point that is like, I see so many people undercharge for their services, and they're actually really good at delivering in solving the problem, but they undercharge. So finding that price point that you feel confident about, because you can't outpace your confidence when it comes to charging. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to charge you $20,000 to lose 30 pounds, like if you're not confident in saying that price, it's never going to actually work because you don't have the conviction. So it's finding the price at the market. I encourage you to be a little bit higher than any of your competitors. You want to be like the Louis Vuitton, not the Walmart brand, right? And so finding that price point that's aligned with you. That's not too cheap, so you're not undercharging and undervaluing yourself. But that's not too expensive to where it's outpacing your own confidence in your delivery, in your service, but finding that sweet spot. So aligning your offer is number one. And how we do it now is I have a one-to-one kind of hybrid to where I work one-to-one with all of my in-demand coach students. Plus we have a community around it so people can get the one-to-one access to me where we get onto Zoom calls and I literally help them work through their problems. I create content with them. I help them with their copywriting. I help them with their messaging and positioning. I help them with all sorts of the kind of nitty gritty, down and dirty type thing. All right, so number 2 is going to be sharpened your message. You have to have a sharp message and brand strategy, which we're going to buckle in or bundle into number 2 here. Sharpening your message. This is the 5% that's going to produce 95% of your results when it comes to generating leads, when it comes to booking sales calls, when it comes to to actually creating sales. You know, I like to look at your messaging and your brand positioning as the calories to a meal plan, right? So if somebody just tries to go and eat healthier foods, it's awesome. They're making great choices. So if somebody is trying to grow a business and they're marketing, they're posting content, it's great job. You're making better choices. But the thing is, if you actually want to get results, just like somebody that's eating healthier, they want to dial in their calories. Once they dial in the calories and they're eating the right proportions for themselves, they're going to all of a sudden start seeing better results when it comes to their weight loss. The same is true when it comes to marketing. If you don't have your messaging, meaning the words that you're using to communicate your offer to the marketplace, and that positions you differently than anybody else, right? Your messaging has to connect with your audience. It has to captivate them, keep their attention, and it has to ultimately convert them. And then the brand positioning is how you're perceived by your audience. How does your audience perceive you against everything else, all of their other options in the market? Does that make sense? And so sharpening up that message, which I literally just did a YouTube video on, I think it was last week. So check that out if you want to get the in-depth details on how you could start working on sharpening your brand message and positioning. And so we're not going to spend much time there because I just did that video. So step number 3 is you want to start to dial in what I call a tribe funnel. And I'm going to bundle in the content system here as well. So you have your tribe funnel and content system. They kind of go hand in hand because you've got to have the funnel piece in place to actually post the content, right? So here's what I mean by tribe funnel. And I'm going to take you on a short field trip. You want to have a source, a place where your audience can come to. And I see so many people that have Facebooks, Instagrams, LinkedIn's, TikToks, they're all over the place. A website, and they're where is the main source? Where are you building that community, that tribe of people? All right. For me, it's been on Facebook for the past few years, right? And so my Facebook is optimized for conversions right now. Everything we do on Facebook is optimized for conversions. The content we post, how we've structured our page, and so forth. So you want to have one place to where you can start building your tribe. You could see my Instagram here. I am not optimizing Instagram. Well, we actually are starting to optimize Instagram. It's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But your tribe funnel, how are you optimizing your bio, your profile, your strategic lead magnet, right? So if you go here, this is a lead magnet, which is highly valuable, by the way. We've had amazing reviews on this, right? To where we're collecting emails, all of that stuff. And so your tribe funnel is going to be the main source. If somebody's hey, where do I follow you? Or where can I learn more about you and your business? Where do you send them? That is your tribe funnel. And the best places in my experience have been Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn's okay. I prefer Facebook or Instagram. They're better choices typically, but depends on your audience, right? And then once you have that, you want to optimize your profile for conversion. So you want to make sure that your cover image is good. In my case, I'm doing this more so around connection. In my industry, all freaking business and marketing type coaches, they have these like very like salesy looking images that are like, book more calls, DM. Like, it's just like, I'm not trying to like, I'm trying to be different, right? I'm not trying to be like the rest of the crowd, right? Have a good profile image here. And then you want to make sure that your intro is sending people to a strategic lead magnet of some sort. This could be a crash course. This could be in our case, it is a really high value ebook. It could be to a video, or like what I teach we'll get to in a second, a mini video sales letter works extremely well when it's well done, right? So you want to optimize your profile for conversions. On Facebook, you want to have like a very strategic pinned post. You can see my pinned post here. On Instagram, you want to make sure that you have strategic highlights, and you want to make sure that your at least 1 to 3 pinned posts are strategic, and that you're actually there has to be a purpose behind it, an intention behind it. Like it could be to a lead magnet, it could be to your story, and it also could be to like like proofs, like social proof, client results, right? So optimizing your profile for conversions is absolutely key for the tribe funnel, and then having a growth engine behind it. So on Facebook, it's pretty standard. I mean, there's multiple ways to grow on any platform, right? You have organic, you have paid, and you have other people's audiences. And so for Facebook, the organic means are going to be like friend requesting people, going into groups, finding your influencers. This is the most popular way that like most people don't do, but it works really well, is you find the influencers and the brands that your audience already follows. So say they follow like Dr. Joe Dispenza, or say they follow Peloton. You go to those groups, or you go into those pages, into those people, and you just prospect there. You just find people there, and you're typically going to get way better quality of people on pages like that, or even going into your local Orange Theories Facebook group if you're into health and fitness, or like, the F45 groups. You're going to find people that are already spending money on a problem, and then you just friend them. And if it's in your local area, it's even, bonus points. On Instagram, there's multiple ways to do it, but follow me ads, follow me DM reels, and then putting a few dollars behind it as ads typically work really well, especially if you have a really well done reel. And then, of course, there's other ways to do it as well, but those are some of the main things. So needless to say, you have to have a way to consistently get new leads coming in, whether it's organic, paid, or if you're doing like podcast tours or collaborations. You just have to have a consistent way to do it, right? And that's really key. And then when it comes to the content system is what we call where you run content campaigns. The old way of doing things is like these like one-off posts where you're just like post and freaking pray. Maybe you're sharing, like if you're in weight loss, you're sharing like some workout tips, some nutrition advice, some mindset tips. No matter what niche you're in or what problem you're solving, most people are sharing like this basic how-to, and there's no real strategy. They're just like sharing content. Maybe you learn to do like, just connection, right? Be vulnerable, post some kind of authority. And that's like key, right? It's like some people might say like, hey, eat a carb, eat a fat, eat a protein, but like how much? Like what's the right kind of sequence for you? And that's where content campaigns come into play. And so the way we do content campaigns is we always start each month. And it's going to be different when I work with my clients one-to-one. It's different depending on their goals, their brand, their niche, their audience, their platform, all of that stuff. But you start with a conversion event. Usually you do 1 or 2 a month. Most people I have do 1 to 2 a month. And conversion event can be something like a live training. It could be a workshop. It could be a challenge. It could be a promotion that you're running. It could be a crash course that you're launching. There's so many different ways to do it. And typically when I work with my clients one-to-one is I'm helping them like come up with the right ones for them. Like some clients crush it with workshops. Some clients crush it with pre-recorded videos. Some clients crush it with live video. There is a right way for you depending on your personality, your skills, your audience, all that stuff. But no matter what, you have a conversion event, and then you work backwards from there. You reverse engineer it just like a good workout plan, and you build out the right content to be able to drive traffic and create demand for your conversion event. This has by far been the most successful way. This is how we've been able to generate well over $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 per month. But I'm sharing these steps to get to that first $20,000, $30,000 per month consistently. Is you have that content system in place to where you're literally sequencing your content to drive traffic to a conversion event, usually every couple weeks, once or twice a month. And then on the conversion event, you have a really good call to action to just get people off the fence. Now, that leads us to step number 4 is you want to have a really impact-driven, integrity-driven sales process. We're not out here cold DMing the world. We're out here to try to help serve people. And the way to do this effectively is the funnel and the social funnel and the content system will get you inbound leads if you're doing it correctly. And when you have the inbound leads, it's really, really key that you actually know how to book them onto calls consistently at the volume that you need to hit your revenue goals, right? So if you're trying to hit 30K per month cash collected consistently, per se, you want to make sure that like your actual sales process is aligned with that. You should know how many call offers you have to be able to make a day. And if you're like, how do I figure that out? I actually have a calculator that I can send over to you. Just ask and I'm happy to share. But you have to have you want to reverse engineer it to that degree so you know, like for example, most of my clients to hit 30K per month, they only have to have like 10 conversations with warm traffic. So you hear all these gurus like 100 DMs a day. That's just because those gurus are pretty crappy at teaching people how to actually get inbound leads. So they're forced to like tell people to go and cold DM people, right? And so yeah, if you have to cold DM people, you probably have to do like 100 DMs a day. But if you actually know how to communicate your message in a way that gets leads coming in, inbound leads, literally 10 DMs a day, 10 conversations a day can get you to where you're booking 2 to 3 calls every single day, right? And that comes down to that DM process. You know what I'm saying? Like once you have the inbound lead, it's being able to quickly build a rapport, which is much easier to build rapport with somebody who's an inbound lead, right? And then you move them to a call and convert. It's pretty simplistic, but here's the problem, right? Most people understand this concept. If you've been in business longer than a day, you understand that you have to DM people, you get them on calls, and then you have a sales call process or a sell by chat process, depending on which method you go with, to be able to convert people. Problem is most people fall in this old school way of doing things where their leads either buy right away or they go onto this like interweb list where they just die, right? They buy or they die. And so one of the game changers for myself and for any of my clients that have had like record months after record months after record months is having a lead nurture system. So this is part of the whole sales process. Having a lead nurture system to where you could strategically nurture your leads that are coming in from your funnel, your social funnel and content system, you strategically nurture them with content. And we have a couple methods that we use. We have a follow-up process that we use. And then we have what's called a mini video sales letter. This, when done right, it's so ninja and it works so freaking well. And so when you have a really good follow-up system to where you're strategically nurturing people with content, you have a mini VSL, video sales letter, where you can help pre-sell people with a very strategic asset. It's game over. Like you will be able to convert so many people. Like this has been true for myself and for a lot of my clients. And the cool thing is it's very impact driven. It's very integrity driven because you're not just like, hey, buy my stuff. You're just like, let me give these people so much freaking value and help them so much. Like most people that buy from me are like, dude, we got results in advance from your content. Like your content was so good that we got results. And I say that humbly speaking, like I'm not like, oh, like who you, but like I'm following these principles and it works, right? So having that lead nurture system is absolutely key. These 4 steps alone get you well over 20K per month. Step number 5, buy back your time. Buy back your time. And this is where hiring a VA can come into play. I'm a poet and I freaking know it. You know, hiring a VA, buy back 5, whatever, however much you can afford at this point, right? 5 to 10 hours a week is amazing. I see so many coaches and entrepreneurs, they stay stuck in this like hustle and grind and solopreneur trap. And they're still doing like all of their like, you know, if they're friend requesting on Facebook or trying to find people on Instagram or LinkedIn, they're editing their content. They are, you know, doing the admin work that like is lower leverage, that is literally eating up your energy. And it starts to burn you out to where you can't actually focus on creating better content, better marketing, and better sales, right? And so you're stuck in this kind of like grind of like working so many hours. People are like, how do you work? I work under 30 hours a week right now, and I'm consistently cutting it down. And it's because I have help. I have that, right? So depending on where you are in your business, maybe you can only afford somebody for like an hour a day. Hell, like take it. Like that's amazing. You could find an amazing VA in the Philippines or somewhere for like $5 an hour because of the currency exchange. You know what I'm saying? And they're amazing, right? They're so good, right? Especially if you know and you find a good source where to, you can go to freeup.com. I mean, there's so many places you can go to. But buying back time, getting rid of some of the low leverage tasks so you can release and have that energy back to be able to focus on better marketing, better content, better sales. So those are the 5 steps, my friend, that if I had to chronologically go in order, especially with the first 3 to 4, and then, 5, you might want to move 5 up right away. You might be like, I will pay somebody right away to take on all this stuff. But chronologically, for the most part, if you go through these things and you dial those in, you will get to $20, $30, $40, even $50,000 a month, depending on your price point. So I hope you found this video massively helpful. I'm going to be doing a really big deep dive into this. I'm going to do a whole crash course and training coming up where I'm going to actually walk you through like how to come up with the offer, how to come up with the funnel, the content system. So hopefully you got some insight from here. I would love to know what you took away from today. Drop it below. And I hope you get out there, crush 2024 because you deserve it and the world needs you. The world needs to hear your message. They need your service. And so get out there and crush it. Oh, and make sure if you found this video helpful, click subscribe for more.